Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Hang Out, the podcast that just gets From the West Coast, I'm Lee Holmes Foster.
And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Bridget. I
broke you already.
I thought you were actually gonna say, like, I don't know. I feel like you were gonna just be like, and I could be like, beep, 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 beep. I'm like,
no
okay,
one will
cool.
ever know what I really said.
Yeah.
Except for the
fine.
three of us.
I'm gonna bleep it all out after. Yeah, I'm gonna censor it in post. And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. To those of you who have been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise, and we are still in our Season 5 Patreon campaign. We want to say a big thank you to our new patron this week, Grizel Jimenez. If you want to join them, you can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon. We really want to hit that 125 patrons so we can get to our first goal of the season. We're also hosting a live Zoom episode with Bad Queers. It's going to be a holiday live December 7th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're going to talk about all of the new lesbian and queer Christmas movies because there's actually so many right now, which is really exciting. So if you want to do that, tickets are completely free. You just register on Eventbrite to get the Zoom link. In the Greater Les universe, we are so excited about Tag Magazine's newest cover. They got Niecy Nash and Jessica Betts, and the cover looks incredible. So congratulations to Tag for that huge get. We love Tag Magazine and we love Ebony over there. And if you want to check it out, you can go to tagmagazine.com or you can order a physical copy of Tag Magazine. I get it delivered to me every month, and I love actually having the physical copy of it. We also wanted to give a shout out to Abby Nissenbaum, who worked with us as a producer on The Flame, but she also has just released her new single. It's called Glass Half Full, and Lee actually has been helping her with her songwriting. So if you want to check that out, look up Glass Half Full by Abby Nissenbaum anywhere you can listen to music. She is also an LGBTQ artist, so we always want to support other LGBTQ creators. Speaking of The Flame and LGBTQ creators and actors, there is a new series on Showtime called Yellow Jackets, starring our fave, Jasmine Savoy Brown. She's also playing a queer character on the show, and it's also just an incredible show. If you like, it's like a cross between The Wilds and She's the Man, but super dark. So yeah, if you want to check that out, you should definitely check that out. Give Jasmine some love. She's doing some incredible things lately, and she's really about to take off. We are so happy for her. That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee. We are so excited to bring you episode 7 of season 5, LGBTQ Taboo. And we are joined by a special guest tonight. We have Melanie Cristol here with us. Hey, Melanie.
Hi, Lee and Ellie. I'm so happy to be here.
We're very happy to have you here. For all of our listeners, Melanie Cristol is a sexual health educator, a lawyer, and the inventor and founder of Laurels, a company that makes sexy wearable latex undies for intimacy. Melanie, we're so excited to have you here.
Thanks so much.
It's going to be great. So why don't we start off? Can you tell our listeners about Laurels, what the company is, and how you started it?
Sure. Lorals are, like you said, silky latex undies that maximize sensations and minimize worries during intimacy, particularly oral sex. Can I say these words?
Yeah, you can
say
say it.
Okay.
literally anything
Yeah,
you want.
Excellent.
our entire episode is going to be about LGBTQ censorship, but like this episode
Yeah,
is not
actually,
censored.
here's a list of all of the things.
The censored words. Yeah, you
I'm
can say
gonna
whatever
list
you want.
all
You
of
can say
the
whatever you
words.
want.
So they're for oral sex and rimming, scissoring, fingering, basically all the things that happen externally and then sometimes a little bit of internal stuff as well. And basically, Lorals allow you to have all of the sensation of those activities, but without the fluid transfer that's associated with it. So people will use Lorals for period oral or for rimming without any kind of worries. They'll use Lorals for kink play, or if genital exposure or touch might be triggering for them. So there's lots of different reasons that people use Lorals. And then we're also in the process of applying to the FDA to be able to describe Lorals as STD protection products and dental dam replacements.
That's awesome. That's so exciting
Thank
that you're
you.
in that like new stage. I'm sure with that there comes a lot of red tape. Yeah.
Yes, it's totally true, but we feel ready for it. And I think that this new stage, hopefully knock on wood, will be happening pretty soon for us. And I'm so excited. It's the original reason why I created the product. And I absolutely love that Lorals are being used for like so many different reasons. But I also really want to work on destigmatizing STDs and helping people who have STDs or are concerned about STDs be able to have as much intimate pleasure as they deserve and to have a ton of fun without having to worry about like stigmas or taboos.
It's also great because it's like, I feel like it's an area where you don't see a lot of like focus on like women's pleasure when it comes to like sexual health and like, like preventing STDs and stuff like there's just a lot of things out there that tend to focus on like women's responsibility to do all of these things, but like not also with a focus on like and feel good doing it. So we love to see it. That's what we love to see.
Yes, we do.
It's so true though. I mean, so many companies out there are working on, creating products that are predominantly for intercourse. And, intercourse can be great for a lot of people, but I think that these other activities are things that tend to lead to much more pleasure for people with vulvas and women. And I want those folks to be able to experience so much more fun and enjoyment during all of their activities. So I think that it's good that there are more companies out there now that are focusing on not just vaginal intercourse and all of the other great things that come during sexual activity.
Yes. And how long has Lorals been around? Like when did you start the company?
So I started conceiving of Lorals like in 2015. And I spent 3 years doing basically research and development. So initially, I had to figure out like what the product was going to be made of and where we were going to manufacture it and what the manufacturing process was going to be. And then, finding a manufacturer. It was a pretty long process first to find the manufacturer, then to work with them over the course of like dozens of prototypes to make sure that the product was super silky and felt really great on the body. And that also it was able to fit a variety of body types. Our current product fits sizes 0 through 20. We have 2 different styles, one that has fuller coverage and then one that has less coverage. So we worked on creating those styles and making sure that those looked good and felt good on the wearer. We also worked to make sure that there wasn't any like residual latex taste that sometimes you'll get with like condoms or gloves. And so the product tastes really good. So for the giver, it's like enjoyable. It doesn't, feel like you're tasting this rubber taste.
And smells delightful.
Oh, yay!
They did.
How do you know that, Lee?
We got samples,
more.
everyone. Listen, the perks of being famous podcasters.
Being a lesbian podcast. Hell yeah. We are here for it. I love it. Yeah, that's amazing. There's also been like some hurdles for you as an LGBTQ business owner though, right? Because we got in touch with you because our friend Lauren Flans from one of our favorite podcasts coming out.
Wait, the famous Lauren Flans?
Yeah, the Lauren Flans.
Lauren
She
Flans.
knows Melanie.
Wow, what an icon.
We do
She's
love
amazing.
Lauren.
Yeah.
We are big fans of Lauren over here. But she told us that you were having some struggles. You had applied for a small business loan and didn't get approved for certain reasons. So will you just tell us what happened with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are so many struggles involved with being a small business owner, and then particularly when you're making sex products. And then I think in particular, when you're making sex products for the benefit of people with vulvas. So, I mean,
They're
people
just
don't want to hear
layering.
about these things, So basically, Laurels is funded through a mix of things, and revenue is one of those things. But when you're creating a product that's like new to the world, you have product development expenses, like those 3 years that I was telling you about. You have patent expenses, machinery. So these types of companies and these types of businesses usually take millions of dollars to get off the ground. So another major innovation in the condom and dental dam space is called the Lilo Hex condom. And it's, made out of latex like Laurels are. It involves the creation of new equipment and machinery like Laurels did. It took many millions of dollars to get off the ground. So with Laurels, we've been able to do that on less than many millions of dollars, which is great. But so, Laurels have been funded by revenue, and then my own investment, and then angel investors, a bit of venture capital funding, and business loans. So basically my plan was to apply for a business loan to basically pay for the final startup related costs, like finishing up the patents and the FDA stuff, and to then raise investment capital that we would then use to grow in the same way as a lot of the brands that you see out there, like Allbirds or Harry's, Quip, all of these brands that you're seeing a lot of. To be one of those brands, you need the money for advertising to be able to compete with all of these VC-backed brands that have ad space. And then also for partnerships, and then for creating new features and product lines. So, we want to create a non-latex version. We want to create an even broader size range. 0 to 20 is great, but it's certainly not enough. And we want to make a version for people with penises and a sheer version. So basically we wanted to get this loan and then raise funding. So to get through the loan, we went through this really complex due diligence process, and everything was going really great. I had positive feedback from the loan officer. He said it was definitely going to go through. After weeks, he was like, it's going to get approved. Yay. We just need to get the rubber stamp from the executive team. And then an executive looked at our website, and I got a phone call from the loan officer, and he said, I'm so sorry. They've decided to turn you down because they don't want to be associated with a company that talks about oral sex and rimming on their website or at all. And I was just dumbfounded. But, I probably shouldn't have been, because this kind of thing has happened before. It's happened with other small business lenders as well. I thought this one was going to be an exception because the loan officer this time knew everything about the business from the very beginning. He assured me that it was a very progressive organization and that everybody was going to be fine with it. So I thought this was going to be different, but other banks have turned us down. One thing that happens a lot with venture capital firms is that they have these things called vice clauses that prevent them from investing in companies that make sex products or marijuana or alcohol. Also we applied for a lender that makes loans on the basis of intellectual property. And our IP is very strong because I used to be a lawyer, or I guess I'm technically still a lawyer. And IP was really important to me. So I was like, oh, great. This is a great way to get funding. And they sent back an email immediately, and they're they didn't even look at the IP. They were just I see what you make, and we aren't going to fund this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's just wild. I mean, it's not, and yet it is, It's it's somehow not surprising and also flabbergasting at the same time. I don't know how it can be both of those things.
No, I totally agree. I don't know. I went into this kind of having a bit of a Pollyanna-ish view about it. I don't know. I've always been very open about sex and sexuality. I was a pure sex educator, and I thought I was going to do theater. And so I worked for the producers of the Vagina Monologues, and that was my first like job. And so like I've been talking about sex in a work context for kind of a long time. And I guess I thought people were going to be more comfortable with it. But like even within the sex industry, like when I was first looking for a manufacturer, one of the manufacturers that I reached out to makes condoms in the United States. And when they found out that we were making products for cunnilingus, they're like, no, we're not comfortable.
Are you kidding me?
That is wild.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's totally insane.
Here's why I think it surprises me sometimes with stuff like this is it's like with loans or like, you know, investors and stuff like that. The thing that I think is insane to me is that it somehow still is a wall, even when it comes to like financial investment in a way where you're like, yes, sex, that famous thing that nobody likes and that is not lucrative in any way. Like that even then when it's like a huge source of revenue and income and every marketing thing is secretly like it just at its core based around sex that like even then you still can't get people to like get over that hump of it. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah,
how
like,
wild.
To be a business that's like, okay, so what's your target demographic? And you're like, literally anyone who has sex.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't know if I know any of those.
Never heard of them. No.
Never heard of them. Sex, not familiar. Tell me more.
I mean, something that happened to me that has been annoying at different points is people also assume that because like, I don't know if it's because I'm queer or because they like hear the word dental dam, but they're like, this is a really niche audience. This is just for lesbians. And I'm like, no, that's totally not true. I mean, like 80% of the population has oral sex. It's a very, very
you heard it here first,
activity.
Everyone. Straight women famously hate cunnilingus, from what I've heard. Yeah. It's just, I think that's just a widely known fact, you know?
I don't want to blow this person's spot up, but I'll just say it's a straight male friend of mine. But literally the other day, he sent me a message that was like, I need your help.
Stop.
And I was
Stop
like,
it.
And he's like, I just really need some oral tips. And I was like, I mean, yes, like if you want oral tips, go to a lesbian, but like everyone needs oral sex tips. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. And I will say the tips worked. He was successful.
Yay! That's awesome.
Are we congratulating him or whoever they were successful for? Both.
Yeah,
Congrats to you both.
Congrats to everyone involved. Always ask a lesbian.
Incredible. Wow. That is just, I don't know why. That's just shocking to me, is what it is.
I feel like it's deeper, though, than just like the sex industry, right? And like, I watched this movie. I don't know if either of you have ever seen it. It was called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. It was a documentary about like the rating series, how we rate movies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it still has stuck with me to this day, where it was like, if you show a woman receiving pleasure, you're going to get a higher rating than if you show a man receiving pleasure. Like oral sex gives you gives you a rating of R more so than, it was also showing like more so than like extreme violence also, where we were talking about like, okay, like we're totally cool with like extreme violence on our screens, but like have a woman receiving oral sex and like the kids can't watch it. You know, like that's like, it definitely still stems from these like puritanical views of like women's pleasure is like somehow wrong.
I mean, Ellie, in their defense though, women's pleasure is hotter. I can't argue with them. Listen, I'll give them that one.
Just because it's sexier doesn't mean it should be like hide it from like young eyes.
No,
I don't know. Like
it's absolutely absurd. I'm just, come on.
I feel like it also was even the difference between like, it wasn't even like R. I think it was the difference between like rated R and NC-17. Like it was like
insane.
That's wild. That's
it would
crazy.
be unrated. Like you couldn't get it in a theater if you showed it.
We don't want women to know that women can enjoy sex until they're, like of a legal age, I think, obviously. That's
like,
what makes sense.
Literally insane. I'm like, and yet, I think one of the things they showed too was like, and yet, like, you can have a man have sex with a pie, and like, that's fine. Like,
What
like,
was that? Was that like
Yeah.
PG-13? What was that rated?
No, I think it's rated R, but either way.
It's rated R.
But either
Jesus.
way, it's just like, what is wrong with our society?
It's
Yeah, but did the pie enjoy it? I don't think so. So that's the really important
It
thing.
also, like, was the pie consenting? Like, no. Like, there's too many things, but we're getting completely off topic.
I think we're right on topic. What are you talking about?
It's so on topic. Like, there's been a pretty big uproar over the last couple of years about what like Facebook will allow as advertising on its platform. And then also like there was a lot of controversy over the MTA because the New York MTA would advertise erectile dysfunction products. But then when a lot of vibrator companies, which happen to be like women-owned vibrator companies that were, creating vibrators so that women and people with vulvas could have more pleasure during sex, those ads are not like able to run because they're pleasure focused rather than utilitarian. But come on, like a guy who's trying to get hard so that he can have sex, it's not so that he can inseminate someone, it's so that he can have an orgasm and have a really wonderful time during that sex. Like we're all really trying for the same thing for the most part. And it's really, truly maddening that companies like Laurel's are not able to widely share that our products exist and that they can help people have a lot more orgasms. And, even if it's not orgasm focused, just a lot more fun and enjoyment during sex.
Yeah, I'm curious to talk a little bit more about the social media stuff because
oh yeah, for sure.
We've been censored many times, like just for the word lesbian or like the word, if we write like
LGBTQ or queer, like
anything to do with being gay. And it's like, okay, but how are we supposed to promote a show that's about being a lesbian, right? Like, it's like we have to like circumvent the word lesbian so people know. Like it makes things far more difficult to like, okay, as a show, we want more listeners. How do we get more listeners that are queer people? We advertise to queer people, but like Facebook or Twitter literally won't take our money. Like they won't even like accept the ad. So I'm wondering if you've had I'm sure you have had similar experiences with Laurel's.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our product right now is very pleasure focused. It's comfort and pleasure focused. It helps you engage in an activity that's going to feel really good at a time that you might otherwise not want to because something is holding you back, whether, it's you don't want somebody up close and personal like that. It's a new partner or you've faced trauma and you like don't want to have that at that moment, or also like if somebody's partner has like scratchy facial hair and it feels physically uncomfortable. If you want all the feelings of rimming because that sounds really great to you and you know that the anus has a whole bunch of nerve endings, but you don't really want somebody's tongue on your butt, So basically we are allowing people to feel pleasure that they would otherwise like turn down. But that's very pleasure centered. And Facebook doesn't like things that are for sexual pleasure. So we do think that once we get FDA clearance, we will be able to advertise because at that point we're making a product that's for safe sex. And, condoms are able to advertise. And I very much expect that Laurel's will be the same. It'll probably take a little bit of nudging and fighting, but I'm sure we'll figure out how to get there. But that is so depressing to me that using terms like LGBTQ prevents you from advertising. It actually reminds me, now that I think about it, we were once trying to like promote our blog posts and, we can't promote anything that's about sex. And usually we can't promote anything at all, but we did get like one of them through that was about something non-sex related. And then we wanted to post like an LGBTQ brands we love article and that got blocked now that I think about it. God.
Yep. That seems unsurprising to us from our experience of trying to get any marketing out. It's hard.
God, I mean, to be fair, it's horrible. But like, to be fair, like we have used it at our advantage sometimes in that like, because of that, like you also can get a lot of support from the community. Like, but it is frustrating, right? Because it's like you have to get organic support. And these companies like a Facebook and Instagram, a Twitter, yes, they're wanting you to get organic reach, but like really, like it's particularly Facebook, they're not going to push your stuff out unless you pay them, right? So I mean, that creates like barriers for a lot of things, right? If you don't have a lot of startup capital, which like you couldn't get a loan, right? Like, okay, so like, and it just keeps putting barriers in front of you to get this product out to the people who need it. But for us, the positives of it, which I would like to talk about, is like because of that, like, for example, like we're having you on our show because like we care that you're being censored because we have experienced that as well, right?
Yeah.
Or like people in our audience will be more likely to share with their friends because they know like that's the way that we get the word out about these things. So I'm curious if you've had that experience with people who love the product, who have tried it, who are like sharing everything organically. Like how's your organic reach been because of that?
Yeah, our organic reach has been great. We have a lot of folks who post on social media about Laurels. Lately, we've been getting more and more like descriptions of Laurels that are over like video. So like, you know, people putting Laurels on over like leggings and describing what they are and showing the product. And that's been amazing for us. TikTok actually has been super awesome for us. I love TikTok as a platform. I was actually just listening to your episode with Mari.
We are big TikTok fans as well. Yes.
Yeah, I love it so much. And it's been such a wonderful platform for us, both for our own content, but then also for other folks creating content about us. And then, you know, us being able to comment on that and share it and stuff. And as the company grows, we'll see more and more of this organic content. And it really, I mean, I think that it's very attached with our mission deep down, which is to celebrate a huge variety of different sexual activities and to show that oral sex is wonderful and it helps people feel good and it, you know, improves relationships and brings people closer together and leads to orgasm 3 times more often than intercourse for straight couples. And, you know,
just dropping scientific facts.
Yeah,
I love it.
I know all of my stuff in my head, but you know, I really do think that it's important that we talk more about oral sex, about rimming, about fingering and scissoring, and all of these like fun ways that people can have pleasure for themselves and provide it to one another, so that these things ultimately get destigmatized, and so that, you know, people at lending institutions aren't scared of a company that makes oral sex products, you know? And I think that all of these things really do need to change. And I think that once they do change, everyone out there is going to be experiencing more sexual pleasure, you know?
Which is really just the dream. That's the dream.
It
right?
is the dream.
That is the dream.
I would love to talk. This is not in our outline, Lee. Sorry, I'm going.
Oh, no, do it. Go for it.
Because you have talked a lot about like orgasm / just like having fun in bed. And I do feel like there is like a very large thing in our society of like sex is either there's two reasons to have sex, right? One, like to procreate and make babies. Two,
yeah, that's why I do it.
Right? Two, to like to make sure you orgasm. And like,
yeah,
if neither one of those things are achieved, it's like a failure, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. I do not believe that. But I feel like it's like we need to have more conversations like that of like, there's actually many different reasons to have sex. Like you said, like just to like connect with your partner. Like it doesn't have to be like so goal oriented, because I think like that, I mean, even like my friend who we were talking the other day, like he was so like dejected that he could not like succeed at doing this thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but like, did you have fun?
Right.
Like, do you like this person?
And more importantly, did they have fun in that situation?
Yes. But like both of you, right? Like, can you both still have fun and like explore new things and like, and without having like the end goal have to be this, even though like, of course, like, yes, listen to your partner and you want to like make them feel good. But like, if for some reason, like I'm not feeling it and like I'm tired and it's not going to happen, like we don't have to go to bed being like, this was such a like sucky experience when like, actually, no, we had a good time. And then it's just like, well, it's not going to happen today. I just wish we would talk about that more often.
I totally agree with you. I think that it is like so important that during intimate activity, it's more about having fun and enjoying yourself and enjoying your partner, and just like bringing each other as much pleasure as possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean an orgasm. Like somebody lightly touching your skin can feel really good and can have a lot of these like, oxytocin and other hormonal effects. And it can make you feel loved and taken care of and all of these other great things. And I totally agree. We don't talk about that enough. I think we focus too much on orgasms. And orgasms, I mean, are fantastic. They're wonderful. I was actually reading a study earlier about how women in same-sex relationships have multiple orgasms more often than other kinds of couples.
The shock on our faces right now, listeners. Gosh.
Yeah. So, orgasms can be great and multiples can be great, but then also not necessarily going for that and just like enjoying each other and like expressing love or adoration or attraction can be enough. And yeah, the disappointment at the end of an activity where you're being like goal oriented is a bummer. And I agree. We should like reframe sex as being about enjoying one another rather than reaching a goal.
It's also funny that like that's where it's funny. How did we land here? The patriarchy. We asked with just no idea. But it is so funny that has become the like, here's the gold standard of sex is like, did you both get off? Even though like, I mean, in addition to what you just said, like also literally every study is just like, and cis women in heterosexual relationships just like don't ever have orgasms basically. And you're like, cool. This is very healthy what we've done as a society. Great job, everyone. A+ work. Pack it in. We're done.
Yeah. I also recently saw, here's another statistic, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this.
It often takes people with vulvas 21 plus minutes to be like sufficiently aroused to have an orgasm. But in heterosexual relationships, often sex is over within like 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh no.
So there just is not
enough
time. And so like, this is another reason why I'm like, we need to promote all of these other sexual activities. Sometimes I say foreplay with Laurels, and I think it's a little bit of a heteronormative term because like for us, like these aren't foreplay, these are like the main event in a wonderful way, but another term that folks use is core play. And like all of these core play activities like oral and fingering and licking and all of this stuff, these are things that maybe take a little bit longer than it would take like a cisgender dude through like vaginal intercourse to orgasm. But they're also things that like feel really good during the entire activity and like slowly lead to arousal and help people feel ready to either truly enjoy the experience or sometimes to have a great orgasm or 2 or 3.
Or however many.
Yeah,
however many you want, listeners. The limit does not exist.
Or as many. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Yeah. I met a friend of a friend at their wedding, and we kept saying that he was an honorary lesbian because he kept talking to us about how he would talk to his male friends and how he was like the you need to make sure you are spending time pleasuring the woman first. And they were like, what? And he's like, yes, because if you do this, they'll be much more into pleasuring you as well. And he was spelling it out for them. And he was like, it's sad how many of them literally don't understand it. He's like, I'll tell them it and then they'll do it and they'll be like, wow, that was amazing. How crazy that she was so much more into having sex with me after I pleasured her. And we were like,
listen.
Ding, ding, ding.
Straight women, blink twice if you're okay. It's just,
well, literally what? Okay,
womp
so
womp.
it's 30 minutes, right? 21 minutes for the girl and 4 to 5 for the guy, and then you're good. Take your time, man. It's okay.
Oh, wow. So should we talk about marketing sex toys and sex things some more, and marketing for specifically sex things designed for vulvas and just in a general sense, man, vaginas are hard to get money for and hard to market for, right? It is tough. When you were telling that story about your business loan, all I could think, Melanie, is that we have like a good friend who started a company that's like focused on reproductive health and like things like that, and specifically was looking for funding for a study on endometriosis. And same thing, they would like go into like talk to investors and things like that, and have, you know, like a bunch of like crusty old white dudes be like, wow, is there like even a market for this? And they're like, have you met any women? Like, do you know do you not know women, sir? Like, have you never met one? I don't understand. They're like, do you know they make up literally a solid half of the population? What's happening here? Like, I don't understand.
That's crazy.
What's going on here? Like, but if you go, you know, if you go in with like, oh, we need to fund like more Viagra research, it's like just money piles landing at your feet. Like,
yeah, I guess from your
it's
experience, like, have the investors that have rejected you, have they been mostly like men?
There's a mix of rejection. Rejection
comes from everyone. Comes from everyone.
Are the folks who have funded Laurels, the majority of our money has come from queer women. So that has been really awesome. And I would love to continue to, I want Laurels to be a queer woman owned company. Like it is very much so right now. But even as it grows and even as we, you know, take in more funding, and, you know, the majority of funders tend to be white straight dudes. And I've had luck pitching Laurels to white straight dudes. A lot of them tell me, like, yeah, you know, my wife or my girlfriend, like, she turns down oral a lot. And like, I really want to be performing it. Like, I want to be going down on her. And, you know, I don't know what it is, but like, she'll say no. And well, actually, they generally have an idea why. Like, they'll usually say, she says no when she's on her period, but I'm actually really into period oral. Or they'll say, you know, after I grew my facial hair, she says that it hurts and I don't want to hurt her. And then like a lot of people, you know, after they've gone to the gym, or a lot of people want to be like groomed in a certain way. And if they're not, then they'll turn down oral. And so for a lot of the men that I pitch this to, they inherently understand because they see this happen in their like everyday lives. And Laurels, we did a study that showed that 87% of women and people with vulvas have turned down oral sex when they want it to say yes for like a variety of reasons, like the ones that I just mentioned. So like a lot of men do get it. I think that for Laurels, when there are a lot of stakeholders in one entity, that is a lot of opportunities for somebody to go on our website and be uncomfortable with the fact that we say oral sex and rimming. But we've had a lot more luck with smaller VC firms and with like individual angel investors, and then also with like what are called family offices, which is basically like a family angel investor. And, you know, folks who are more progressive tend to be more comfortable with this. And then also folks in the condom industry have also like understood where we are coming from. And like, I have an advisor who is like a CEO of a condom company. And so I think people like some guys get it, you know, and it really just depends on who they are and what their perspective is. And then like how many people around them are potentially telling them like, oh, that's weird. I'm not cool with that. You know?
I'm curious, while you're talking about like, you know, like condom companies and stuff like that, I'm thinking of, I mean, like condom ads in a general sense, but also like, I mean, we all know like so much of marketing is just like phallic imagery, right? Like everything where you're just like, look, an exploding champagne bottle, or like a banana with a condom on it, or a big giant building, or a woman licking an ice cream cone suggestively. Like, have you had to try, like, you know, Ellie and I have talked about this before, like some of the ways that we try to like flag in our marketing sometimes when we're like, can't say the word gay, so I'm just gonna like splash some some rainbows everywhere. Like, have you tried some of the like subversive, like get around things to like get it out there? Like, what have you? I want to hear what the journey's has been like for you.
Yeah. So for the most part, like digital advertising, like advertising on Facebook and advertising on Instagram, we have a strategy to do that in the future. Right now, I think because of these hurdles, it doesn't quite make sense, but we're very close to it making sense. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to hold off for now. I have a funny story about Bing ads, but I don't think it answers your question. So before that.
So you're saying the orchids are coming up, like they're coming our way.
They're so beautiful. Look at those beautiful like flowers.
Yes.
Georgia O'Keeffe. No, I feel like it's different.
Yeah,
is it Georgia O'Keeffe?
It is Georgia O'Keeffe. Yeah.
Okay. Like
or like a blood orange, like split in half, like.
Yeah. So like on TikTok, we have to do this a lot because we have to be able to show that laurels can be licked and you can feel sensation through them. And like you can have some light finger penetration, but we can't show it in a way that is remotely sexual. So we actually did this series of videos using a watermelon. So
amazing.
So basically like we put laurels on a watermelon and like in one of them, we show that laurels are for kink play. So we kind of pull the laurels and then snap them and you hear the nice little sound of the snap. And that was good. But then when it became a problem when we wanted to show that you can feel all of the sensation through them. The idea was to like create something that would look like labia inside, like on the watermelon. So we went back to the produce section and got like little, like, I think it was like little, like okra. Yeah, we got okra, 2 things of okra and put them together. And then like, laurels, they get tight around them.
That's hilarious.
It paints a picture for us.
It does.
It looked realistic. It really looked realistic.
I mean, it didn't look realistic, but you knew what it was.
Yeah.
Which was maybe the problem because then we basically like took a leaf and brushed it lightly against the okra. and it looked sexy. It was like, how does this look sexy? This is crazy.
That's so funny.
Like, why is this looking sexy to us? But we basically, when we realized it looked sexy, we had to change the music so that the music was like, just like something really silly to decrease the sexiness. I think that one initially got taken down. I'm just picturing
like yakety sax while you stroke this okra.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it initially got taken down, but then got reinstated. I think the takeaway point with TikTok is that we can't do anything that comes across as sexy. And it's very like, it feels subjective, but it's almost objective. Like if you watch the video and you think to yourself, I think that's sexy, then it's probably going to get taken down. So
that's so sad, though.
But
like,
it's
so sad.
Like you're literally
it's a product
a sex product.
Right? Like it should
sexy.
feel sexy. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
it can't feel
so
sexy.
Disappointing.
And then you think about like all the other videos that after you watch them, you're like, that was sexy. Like
all those men who would do like the videos in like super tight shorts, and you're just like, I would just like scroll, can't see this. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, like all like those famous TikTokers who like just like dance half naked, and you're like, but you can't touch a watermelon with a leaf.
Yeah, and like I want them to be able to do that. Like,
yes. Everyone should be able to do all of it. Yeah.
But like, I want us to be able to be a little bit sexy sometimes, and so. Then at another point, we tried to show that laurels don't leak fluid. So if you're on your period and you wear laurels, like you're able to have your period fluid stay on one side and your partner is able to go down on you on the other side. So we were trying to show that. And we did it with a mannequin, like a plastic mannequin wearing laurels. It was fun to make. I love TikTok. It's so fun.
I know. I'm like, also, I'm like about to like stalk you on TikTok now. I need to see these videos.
They're so fun. I love it. So basically, like, I pulled out an underwear. I poured in some like cranberry juice, And then I shook the mannequin. It was to like shake that thing. That's not like shake that thing. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, okay. So I'm like shaking it and then like showed like, none of the liquid got out. But people were commenting like, plastic is different than skin. Can you show this on skin? And I'm like,
and you're like,
no.
You're like, the whole point is that we can't.
Yeah, like I would love to show you on skin, but like we just can't. I even at one point bought a mannequin that's like I bought a sex doll because I
Amazing.
I thought that I would be able to put Laurel's on the sex doll and be able to show the penetration and stuff. But when the sex doll arrived, it was child-sized.
No.
Oh no.
And
You're
then,
like, let me get the cheapest one. You're like, let me get like
I got the cheap. I mean,
the smallest, cheapest size. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was just like a torso, but it said life size, and I should have done my measurements better. But I was like comparing to other ones on the same site, and they're all like the same measurements. This one was bigger than a lot of the other ones. So anyway, bloopers for
That's so
sex entrepreneurs. And then we even tried to do a video with that, and that got taken down. It's maybe because of a different reason.
Yeah. Jeez. But it is. It's like, it's so hard. It's just so difficult to promote these things when it's like.
But we were talking about like getting stuck in between having to talk about sex, but not being able to talk about sex. And another context where this happened was with Bing ads. So basically I was like, Bing ads are cheaper than Google ads. Maybe we'll try those out a little bit. And I submitted some ads, and they were like, okay, these are too sexual. You are going to need to apply for our adult program, which is, it's like two different silos, like non-adult and adult. And if you're an adult, then you can say words like cunnilingus or oral sex in your ad copy. So I applied for the adult program, and somebody went on our site and came back and said, sorry, you aren't getting into the adult program. This isn't sexual enough.
What?
So, yeah.
Wow.
This really happened. They're like, this isn't actual adult content, which is true. Like, it's not, it kind of is, but it's not, it's not porn. Like, our website is definitely like not pornographic. Like, everybody's covered, and we try to cater to like a really broad audience, like and a lot of people who are not very comfortable with intimacy and with sex. So like our website says oral sex and rimming, but it's also kind of PG, I guess, maybe PG-13. So it wasn't sexual enough for the Bing silo for adults. So we can't advertise on Bing. I mean, I'm hiring somebody new who is going to like help us through all of these things. And hopefully we will be able to reach the right person at Bing to say, this is ridiculous. Let's figure out a way around it. But like, it's weird being a business that's kind of on the cusp of mainstream and adult.
Yeah, like you're not sexy enough for this, but you are just too sexy for this. Yeah, that is so crazy. There's also just so much craziness. Also, from what Lee was saying earlier, I just had this idea for your TikTok, and if you do them, I will be really happy. They might be a little too extensive, but I feel like it'd be hilarious if you did like recreate some like famous condom ads, but for Laurel's.
Oh my God, that's an amazing idea.
Right? And like if it's too extensive, but like I feel like it could be really
so good.
And then you see if they got taken down also, you could literally be like, look, this is an exact ad for condoms. And because we're doing it with this thing for female pleasure, it got taken down.
Oh my God, please
so
give
good.
me someone like squeezing a grapefruit to like have this grapefruit just like squirting juice everywhere with like the Laurel blocking it. That's what I want. That's the energy that I want us bringing into our marketing now. Okay, come on.
That's amazing.
Think about it. Bring it to your marketing team.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll even waive our fee on these. These are yours.
Yeah. No consultation fee. Don't worry.
Thanks, Paul. With the bank, actually, like I wrote a long letter, basically like appealing the decision. And I said, would you deny funding to a condom company? Take a look at Durex's website, at Trojan's website. And like Durex's website says like great sex in like huge block letters and flashes it like when you arrive on their website. Another one of the websites basically has like simulated sex happening on a video right when you appear on their website. And it's because, you know, we're making products for safe sex, but we want safe sex to be sexy, you know? And like people don't want to be thinking about clinical things when they're buying their sex products. And so it's necessary for us to talk about these things on our website. Yet I don't think that this community lending institution would be turning down a loan to Durex or Trojan.
I actually, even when I'm having sex, I'm only thinking about orchids. That's all that's up there. Watermelons, you know? I just want to keep it nice and PG. That's all.
Or, oh my God, do you listen to My Dad Wrote a Porno? Pomegranates.
Yes. Oh my God. Amazing. Please incorporate more pomegranates. Pomegranates in all ads at all times. That's what
we almost incorporated pomegranates, but my marketing director was like, I didn't realize that pomegranates have so much
spikes.
Like yeah, and it's kind of hard to figure out like how to make the actual pomegranate sexy. I think it's like the seeds. It's the juice of the seeds. I think that we need to focus on.
So right. We could, as much as
Ellie and I are just going to sit here for the next hour giving you marketing.
Let's do it. Please. I mean, these ideas already are pretty awesome.
we'll do it after the Q&As. We'll get there. Don't worry.
We could talk about the different fruits that we want to have in the marketing campaign forever. But I think it is time for our Q&A. Are you ready, Lee?
It's time. Let's do it.
Q and gay.
Question number 1. Have you ever been censored for being a part of the LGBTQ community? A, yes, or B, no? B, no.
Yes.
Yes, clearly.
No hesitation. I like that. Nice and quick. Question 2. What would you use laurels for out of A, rimming, B, oral, C, kink play, or D, all of the above?
All of the above at the same time.
At the same time, yes.
At the same time, yes. All right, question number 3. I'm excited about this one. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but you just interpret it how you want. What are you rated? A, PG, B, PG-13, C, R, or D, NC-17?
I think that currently we are rated R. Can I say however, I do think that within 5 to 10 years, this is not going to be R-rated anymore. This is going to be pleasure that everybody comfortably experiences and talks about, and it's not going to be taboo anymore.
Snaps. Yes.
We're here for
Love
that.
it. Question 4. What's more scandalous? A, female pleasure, or B, some dude screwing a pie?
B.
Those are the only 2 choices. That's it. I just need to have a poll response to say it. That's all.
I just want to be able to post that on Twitter with a gif of the dude screwing a pie. All right. Question. It'll probably get censored. All right. Question number 5. What's your favorite stand-in for marketing purposes? A, orchids, B, oranges, C, watermelon and okra, or D, pomegranates?
C, watermelon and okra.
Amazing.
I love it. Melanie, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Before we finish up, is there anything else you want to tell our listeners?
Yes, we are offering a 15% off coupon to the Les Hangout pod. You can go to our website and enter Les Hangout as the coupon code. And we would love for folks out there to be able to try laurels.
So amazing. Exciting. And where can people find you online? You said you have a TikTok. What else? What other kind of social medias do you have?
We have TikTok and we have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all at My Laurels. So MYLORALS. Also, one other thing, we also sell a vibrator now, and it is an awesome vibrator. It is so perfect and wonderful. It has multiple speeds and intensities. It fits very, very nicely in the palm of your hand or your partner's hand. It has a little remote control, so you can do some fun, naughty things with it. And then also it fits really perfectly inside of Laurel's. So if somebody is going down on you, you can also get some clip stem at the same time.
Very exciting.
Yay,
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from you and building community, so we want to shout out some of our favorite things each episode. We'd like to shout out a Twitter follower who tweeted at us. Their Twitter handle is whoa_Nelly02 and said, "Did I have doing research on why the Lion King is gay at 9 a.m. on my Tuesday morning on my bingo card this morning? No, I did not. I never knew I needed this. Thank you, Let's Hang Out Pod, out here doing the Lord's work." You're welcome, Nelly. You're so welcome. We loved last week's episode with Bethany Brown. She's so hilarious. So we hope you all enjoyed the episode. And thank you for tweeting at us. If you want to be featured in a Hip Hip We're Gay, make sure you're tweeting at us. You can send us DMs on Instagram, or we also check our emails to shout you all out.
And as always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Jess Klaus,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jacqueline Rosashino,
Sarah and Julia,
Carrie Ann Lawrence,
Danny Gunlock Tamora,
Brittany Ray,
Alana Rosen,
Lizette Stye,
Stacy,
Adi Benitez,
Fiona W.,
and our newest lesbian Jesus, Whitney Lennon,
and our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Leah Henley,
Liz Chen,
Julia Gonzalez,
and Ashley White.
Thank you all so much. That is an extensively long list. You're all incredible. I just get I just want to be reminded of how grateful I am every time we read that list. So thank you all. It really means the world to us that you all support us.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now TikTok if you want to come find us at Let's Hang Out Pod.
Getting wild on TikTok. Email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
You can check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop.
And if you haven't yet, don't forget The Flame is available on all podcasting apps. You can check it out. All of the episodes are up, and, we've got the next one in the works, so you want to make sure that you are all caught up on our musical journeys.
We are also posting videos on our YouTube channel. We have 5-minute short little video clips from each episode. You can check that out at youtube.com/letshangoutpod.
If you want to help support the podcast, the first way that is so easy and so free is to go on the Apple Podcasts app, leave us a rating and a review. Helps new people find the podcast, and we love reading the reviews.
You can also support us on Patreon at bit.ly/lespatreon. We have all kinds of fun perks like our Discord chat for all of our patrons, watch parties for our lesbian movies. We're going to be doing a watch party for Under the Christmas Tree, which is Lifetime's new lesbian holiday rom-com starring friend of the pod, Elise Bauman. So if you want to join us, any level will get you into our watch parties at bit.ly/lespatreon.
If you want to help us make more musicals, you can also join our Patreon specifically for our musicals at bit.ly/theflamepatreon. We are really starting to gear up on this next project, and we can't wait for some spoilers, some teasers, some little nuggets that we're going to be starting to drop in there. So if you want to follow along, that's where you can find all the information.
If you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, you can get that at bit.ly/lesshop. We have a little holiday bundle with some crew necks. Maybe you get a little Let's Hang Out mug. You can get something for your favorite queer woman in your life at bit.ly/lesshop.
We did just debut a new The Flame design. We know we have, some Flame fans out there, so just some things for the holidays that we want to make sure are available. You can find those. And if you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee.
And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Buffet brawlers, glory holes gone wrong, cannibalistic castration cabins, public poopers? These are just a few of the crazy topics you'll hear covered on Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the pettiest podcast around. Whether you need a break from all that murdery true crime stuff, or just enjoy hearing hilarious stories told in a unique way, I got what you need. I'm Leroy Luna, your fearless host / chauffeur. So come hop in my minivan and let's go for a ride. I promise you probably won't be disappointed. Excuse me, that's illegal is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically everywhere you consume podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th of the month, baby!